Snakes are hunters. If you want to see really big snakes, a zoo is the place to go. You will never find these snakes near your home. Big snakes come from jungles and other hot parts of the world. You will also see small snakes and middle-sized snakes, but no zoo can show you every kind. Altogether, there are more than 3,000 kinds of snakes. Timber rattlesnake, anaconda, garter snake, red-bellied water snake, bald snake, king snake, ball python, black rat snake, king cobra, corn snake, milk snake. Look at some snakes and you will see ways they are all alike. Each has a long body that it is covered with scales. The scales overlap like shingles on the roof. Every snake has round eyes. The eyes never blink because a snake has no eyelids. Instead, each eye has a clear cover called a spectacle. The spectacle protects the eye. A snake has no legs. Even so, it gets around very well. Many snakes can glide over the ground, climb trees, and swim. Snakes move in several ways. Most often you see one moving with edge-shaped curves of its body. The curves push against rough parts on the ground, and the snake slides forward. Snakes are hunters. In the wild, they find and catch other animals for food. This garter snake is hunting. It first senses that something is near when a frog hops. Snakes cannot hear sounds as we do, but they can sense the shaking of the ground when an animal hops or runs. The garter snake looks around, watching for movement, but mostly it hunts by scent. It uses its nostrils to scent prey. It also uses the long, forked tongue that flicks in and out of its mouth. The two tips of the tongue pick up tiny particles of scent and carry them to the roof of the mouth. The other particles are tasted and smelled. The garter snake glides closer and closer to its prey. It strikes, using its teeth to catch the frog. A snake's teeth are like curved needles. They are good for catching food, but not for chewing. Snakes swallow their prey whole. The frog is bigger than a garter snake's head, but the snake can swallow it anyway. A snake's jaws open very wide. The lower jaw drops much farther than yours does, and it is made of two pieces of bone that stretch apart. Bones of the upper jaw also stretch apart. A snake eats by moving bones in its jaws. Bit by bit, its teeth pour the meal into the snake's throat. The garter snake eats its prey alive. Many snakes do this, but some kinds kill their prey before eating it. A corn snake kills by squeezing. This one has caught a mouse. The snake quickly wraps several coils of its body around the mouse. Each time the mouse breathes out, the coils tighten. Soon the mouse cannot breathe. It dies, and the corn snake starts to swallow it. Boas, pythons, and anacondas also kill their prey this way. They usually feed on chickens or large rats, but these big snakes sometimes kill and swallow small deer or pigs. After such a huge meal, they may not to eat again for several months. A rattlesnake is one of the snakes that can sense heat. It has a hollow or pit on each side of its head. The pit senses tiny changes in air temperature. That is how a ratter knows when it is near a warm-blooded animal. A ratter can find its prey even in the dark. The ratter is also one of the snakes that kill their prey with poison. Inside its mouth are two long teeth called fangs. It is hollow and it is linked to a sac of poison or venom. As the ratter strikes, venom is forced through the fangs. The prey dies and the ratter feeds. When the ratter's fangs are not in use, they are folded back in the mouth. When the ratter opens its mouth to strike, the fangs spring up. Heat-sensing pit, fang, venom hole. The venom is stored here. Snakes often spend hours looking for food. Some hunt for it. Others wait for prey to pass by. But snakes do not always get a meal. The prey might escape or fight back. Snakes are also hunted themselves. Young snakes, small snakes, and middle-sized snakes are food for many other animals. They are even eaten by other snakes. Sometimes big snakes get eaten too. They are hunted by crocodiles and other large animals. Snakes need the sun's heat. A snake's body cannot make its own heat the way yours does. It needs to take heat from the sun or from sun-warmed rocks or water. A snake's body cannot get rid of heat the way yours does either. To cool off, a snake must find a cool place. Snakes die if they get hot. Many snakes live where winters are cold. They must find safe shelters for winter. Snakes die if temperatures are below freezing. The snake seeks out deep burrows and caves. These are places where temperature stays above freezing. Here, hundreds of snakes may gather in autumn. They go into a long, deep sleep. Snakes wake when the spring sun warms the air and the ground. They sun themselves. They hunt. They look for mates. Many female snakes lay eggs. They make a nest in a warm, damp place. Lay their eggs and go away. The young hatch out by themselves. With some kinds of snakes, the eggs stay in the female's body until they hatch. The young are born alive. Young snakes can take care of themselves. Soon after birth or hatching, they are ready to hunt insects and other small animals. As a young snake grows, its thin outer skin becomes too tight. The snake must shed the skin. It rubs its head on something rough, losing the old skin around the lips. As the snake grows on rubbing, the skin is peeled back from the head. The snake crawls out of the old skin, wearing a shiny new one. Now it can go on growing. It will shed its skin many times during its life. Big snakes may live to be 30 years old. Smaller snakes may live to be 15 to 20 if nothing happens to them, but often something does. Snakes are most likely to live a long time in a zoo, the best place for you to see and watch them.